Every day, traders make decisions based on red and green candles. But what if those candles are only showing you half the story?
Human traders need 200 to 500 milliseconds to process information and react to market changes.
Trading algorithms react in microseconds, literally 1,000 times faster than human thought.
By the time you see a price move on traditional charts, algorithms have already positioned themselves.
Orderflow reveals institutional positioning before expiry events, seeing the game within the game.
Weekly expiries create massive position unwinding. Traditional analysis misses these derivative-specific forces.
Stop reacting to candles. Start reading institutional intent. Join the e-course now. 4,909 for lifetime access.
In Indian markets, derivatives volume is 10 times larger than cash. Most market activity is invisible to traditional analysis.
4% of traders lose, not because they aren't smart, but because they chase candles and ignore what institutions are actually doing.
Our 12-video e-course reveals how markets actually move through order flow and market profile. See the forces behind price, not just price itself. Every price move is just the surface. Dive into demand and supply if you want the truth. Every day. Every day, traders make decisions based on red and green candles. But what if those candles are only showing you half the story?
Human traders need 200 to 500 milliseconds to process information and react to market changes.
Trading algorithms react in microseconds, literally 1,000 times faster than human thought.
By the time you see a price move on traditional charts, algorithms have already positioned themselves.
Orderflow reveals institutional positioning before expiry events, seeing the game within the game.
Weekly expiries create massive position unwinding. Traditional analysis misses these derivative-specific forces.
Stop reacting to candles. Start reading institutional intent. Join the e-course now. 4,909 for lifetime access.
In Indian markets, derivatives volume is 10 times larger than cash. Most market activity is invisible to traditional analysis.
4% of traders lose, not because they aren't smart, but because they chase candles and ignore what institutions are actually doing.
Our 12-video e-course reveals how markets actually move through order flow and market profile. See the forces behind price, not just price itself. Every price move is just the surface. Dive into demand and supply if you want the truth.
Retail traders see the market through simplified lenses, basic price movements, and volume totals.
Institutions monitor every bid, every ask, every aggressive order, tracking market intent in real time.
While retail celebrates a green candle, institutions see the initiative selling that's about to reverse it. Order flow analysis gives retail traders institutional-grade market intelligence.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. A quick sound check. Am I audible? Great. Welcome to this 5 p.m. session. And today we are going to discuss about order flow. And why we are discussing about order flow is because in today's trading world, candles are not enough. Candles and indicators, they show us the past. They show us the past data. So we need more latest data in today's world of derivatives, which is why we are not just looking at the candle. Candles show us the surface, indicator shows the past, but we look at the order flow inside the candle, because order flow is showing us the intent. It is very clear when we can see intent by the buyers or the sellers when we are looking at the order flow inside the uh, candlestick bar. So that is what we are going to review, and what we are going to do is I'll start with a quick review of what we have done in the series of September so far. And what I have on screen right now is the line chart of 30-minute line chart of the September series. So you can see I'm starting with the first day of the series, and we had two important points. In fact, three important points. One was the rollover point, which is the most important level which we mark when a new series starts, which was at 24650. And then we have the August VWAP, which was at 24718. We also make note of the POC of the previous month that was almost coinciding with the rollover point. It was at 24624. So what I have done is I have marked these two lines, and you can see how the first day of September we got this big green bar closing above the rollover point. So we are very clear about what bias we need to have regarding the rollover point. Above the rollover point we are bullish, below the rollover point we are bearish. So once we took out the rollover point on the first day of September, you can see how we moved higher. But what happened in this move? This move higher was not complemented by very good green caught. Yes, you have green caught on the next day, but then we got a correction and we got an IS30 here. So in order flow, intent is shown by IS bars, IS or IB bars, initiative sellers or initiative buyers. They are the bars which show you intent. Those are the bars which we need to make use of in trade and execute the trades. So what are the rules to take trades when you look at an IS or an IB? And they can come on all time frames. We are looking at the 30-minute for now. We'll just have a quick view of the 30-minute for the entire series where we have got IS or IB bars, and then we will have a look at the 3 minutes from yesterday of what we have done in Nifty futures yesterday and today, the 2 days. We'll have a quick review of how we got the signals, we got the intent seen in order flow, and what were the trades which we could take. So the trade setup is pretty simple. Once you get this IS30, you need this gets activated below the IS30 low, and the stop loss is the IS30 high, and we look for targets according to the range. So whatever your stop loss is, the first target would be based on that on the downside. And once you hit that first target, you will part book and then trail rest of your position to cost. So that is the rule which we follow for all IS and IB signals on any time frame, be it 3 minutes, 5 minutes or 30 minutes. So what this IS30 did, the first IS30 of the series, which came on 2nd of September, it took support right at this rollover point, and you did not get any follow through. So again, we had a rise, but this rise you can see was again on red cut. So what did we do? We opened higher on the 4th, and on the 4th, the higher open got us the IS30. This was the second IS30, but the first IS30 of September, which got activated because the low of this IS30 was broken. So with the stop loss at the high, we look for trades. I'll come to this chart, make a note of this date, 4th of September, where we got the first IS30 activated in Nifty futures. So once we hit those targets, that trade is over. This is done. So what we are seeing on the higher time frame is this IS30 took support at the rollover point. This IS30 gave a move lower. It hit the respective targets, but then it took support right at the series VWAP. So this is telling us that the sellers were not being able to push lower. We were above these 2 points for the September series. So we couldn't be too bearish as long as this were not broken. So what we did was we continued with a move higher. But this move higher, if you see, we also follow caught. You can see the caught was mainly red. There was hardly much green caught in this rise up. So we never trust a market which rises on red caught. So although the entire rise, we did not have any more IB30s in this rise, but the caught also was not supporting. So we were just being patient. We were looking at the intraday trades. As per the setup, we were trading the shorter time frame, and we were waiting for the first IS30 to come in after this up move. Because although the caught was red, we did not get any IS signal also in the entire trending move from 8th of September to 17th of September. And then what happened after the 17th was a change in the auction character. So this on 18th of September, we made new highs, and you can see how these new highs got in the first IS30. This. So the IS30 before this was on 8th of September, and we got the second IS30 here. So what is this IS30 telling us? This new highs in Nifty futures, this was in fact new highs for the series, was not complemented by fresh buying. In fact, we got a IS30. So IS30 at new highs is telling you that the upside is capped. And now we can look for more downside. So immediately this IS30 was triggered. We were not able to take off this high, although this was a very narrow range. We'll see that in the order flow chart also. But this was giving us very important cue that this upside, which was not a good healthy upside, was now being reversed. And this was not a surprise that we got this big gap down. And again, we got this IB30, but again, this was not successfully activated because this gap held and we immediately broke below this IB30. So this was telling us that now the PLR is changed to the downside, and it was supporting, the caught also was supporting that the buyers were not had not got this rise up. So there is no buying which is coming back to defend this move lower. And then from there, we have been in a probe down. So this was our theme on the higher time frame. So I'll just quickly move on to the two examples of the 30 minutes what we were talking. So what I have on screen now is the 30-minute order flow chart of Nifty futures, and we will look at the first example which we saw on the 8th. So we have a very nice tool here where we can go back to any date we want. So I'm going back to the 8th, and by default it will start open. So what did we do on 8th? We got the first IS30 signal. Let us see. Sorry, I think it was the 5th, not the 8th. My apologies, it was the 4th, not the 5th. So this is that IS30 which we were talking about, which we saw on the broader time frame. So what happened on 4th is we got a gap up. This was a gap up, and this gap up did not get any fresh demand. You can see these reds. And we did not make any range extension to the upside. We left a period selling tail, and we remained below VWAP. So structure wise, we were weak. And then we saw the POC shifting here, and then we got this IS30. So what is the rules of the IS30? 24890 is the low of the IS30. So we break below this and we get volumes. This IS30 gets activated. And what will be the stop loss? The stop loss would be this high. And what you don't need to have a line in the stone kind of a stop loss, because the markets will not have pin to pin precision. Of course, this is our reference, but what you can do is you can have this POC as the reference and this VWAP. So this roughly is telling us as long as this zone is being held, we are looking for more downside. So if you go short below 24890 with even your 24938 as your stop loss, your targets would have been 24841. The first target was 24841, which got hit in this bar. And then your second target would have come to 24792, which did not hit into the close that day. We made a low of 24810 and we closed around the lows. So, but still this IS30 was in play and one target was hit. So it is up to us how you want to hold, if whether you want to hold on to this or whether you want to book out and continue to use this as a reference. So next day we had a higher open and you can see how this IS30 was still holding. And then again, when we broke below with an extension handle in the B period, you can see how we went on to hit the other two objectives. 24792 and 24743 were the targets. And we went on to hit both of them. And here, the order flow, this is where we took support at the series VWAP of August. This is what I was showing you on the line chart, which we discussed. So what this IS did was, if you are an intraday player, you will book at your first target and come out. You will close your positions at the end of the day. Then next day, if you're seeing another opportunity with the same range, this IS30 was not even taken out by 1 point. And more so, what is happening? This was the previous day's VWAP and you are not getting any buyer over there. So the IS signal gives you, not only gives you a trade, it also gives you a reference which you can make use of till the time this does not get negated. So when this was holding and again you are getting an extension lower, so you know you can use this again. You can use this reference again and you can make use of it for a good trade. And here, as that VWAP was holding, we know that it is time to book out so you can see how 24718 to the dot, almost to the dot, it was being supported. And more so, the POC shifted lower here. So it is telling us profit booking by the sellers. So this is an RB. So what we do, IS and IBs are for taking trades to enter positions, and RBs and RS are telling you to book part of your positions, book part or book come out of your positions, because this is responsive activity. Initiative activity was the one which we saw over here. On 4th September at 3:15 was the initiative activity, and this initiative activity gave the results. And this resulted in the responsive activity. So these sellers, the initiative sellers, were booking profit at an important reference. So this was how the first 30-minute signal of September 2025 worked out. So let us now move on to the one which we saw on 18th. And mind you, in between, we did not get any 30-minute IS or IBs. So yes, we do keep getting them on the 3 minute, which will also cover of today and yesterday. But this was the next IS we got in September after the one which we just saw, of which happened on 4th. After 4th of September, the next we got was on 18th of September in the afternoon. So I was mentioning this was the gap up, but after the gap up, it was struggling to rise. You can see it was more sellers who were coming in, and this IS confirmed that the upside is capped. And what was the range? We had just a 20-point range. 25525 was the high and 25505 was the low. But still, it gave such an important cue that this 25525 can be your reference now to get into aggressive shorts. And your risk is very small. You know the risk is very limited. In fact, if you're an option seller, you could have looked to sell 25,500 calls. So what happened? This got triggered. Although the range was small, all targets were met. But the important point is not the hitting of targets. What it also told us that this is now a swing reference, because this move down culminated in the closure of the gap, but we took support just above the POC of previous day. And here we saw an RB forming with zeros on the sell side. So what did this do? The supply getting exhausted, or the sellers booking, gave this rise. But what did the rise do? The rise stalled right at that IS 30 high. So the same thing we saw on 4th of September, where the IS 30 high held at the open the next day morning. This is again holding. So this again tells you that as long as this 25525 is held, you can be biased toward the downside. So even if you're not getting IS 30 signals, you can look for IS 3 signals on the IS signals on the 3-minute order flows, and go short and keep booking profits. So what happened the next day was an lower open, and it was a drive down. So, but it was very clear, the picture was very clear that the trend had changed to the downside. And on this day, even the series POC of September, which was actually a trend up profile till then, shifted to the top. It was at 24857 after the initial move at 24650, the rollover point. From there, it came to 24772, and then it came back to this 24424, the series POC. So it was very clear that the PLR now, the POC was in the top, so the PLR was to the downside. So I would want to again come to this IB signal which we saw, which did not give us much of a giveaway. So this IB30 did get triggered, but you can see this high 25333 is right where the VWAP of previous day is. So when you know the main higher time frame PLR has turned to the downside, you want the previous day's VWAP to be taken out. So that is where you need to be very alert about the references which you want to mark out. And here you can see how the probe above this was getting more reds. The buy side is all in double digits, whereas the sell side you have 391, 227, 200. You have reds over here. So it is very clearly telling that the buyers are not able to hold this up. So that is why we use market profile, and that is why we use VWAP. When you know that the PLR is to the down and value is being formed lower, we'll keep taking the VWAP of the previous day as a reference to hold on to that bias. So although this up move, this IB30 went on to get negated because we closed below this lows, but because it was holding VWAP, it was still a neutral close. It was not one dominated by the sellers. But what happened the next day? You can see, I'll come to the 3-minute order flow chart in a bit. But what happened the next day? Now, because we are aware about the higher picture, see this, what order flow is showing us at the open. You have almost 10, 11 rows of zeros on the buy side. This is very clearly telling us there is absolutely no demand at this level. So what we did in the C side, we made a pullback to this. We could not take this out, and we probe lower. We got this IS30, but this IS30 did not get triggered because we did not break below this 25079. So this got negated. We went on to probe higher. The buyers made an attempt, but again you can see where we stalled. We stalled right at the place where we got zeros at the open. And here what do we see? We see a row of zero on the buy side in this 115 bar. And then again we see a couple of zeros on the buy side in the next bar. So this was very clearly telling us there is a aggressive seller who is sitting at 25,200. In fact, in the VLD yesterday, we took a trade as soon as we saw this on the 30-minute order flow. And with this small stop loss of 25200, we went short at 25170 for a move back to 25080. So we almost went on to tag that. We made a low of 25091, and I'll come to that trade because here we have not got any IS signal. But on the 3-minute yesterday, after this Q, we got two big good IS signals. In fact, I'll come to that and we'll discuss that first, and then we will move on to the 3-minute order flow of today and what we have done. So let me now shift to the 3-minute order flow chart. So I have the 3-minute order flow chart of Nifty futures of yesterday. So this is the same what we saw in the 30 minutes. You can see the same thing at in the opening bar. Absolutely no sign of any demand. So that is the reason what we did was we probe lower. We did not get any IS signals here, and in the probe back we made a high right at 25170. This triggered another move lower. We went on to test the lows. We made these new lows, and what we got at this new lows is RB signals. So as per the order flows what we follow, there was no IS or IBs here, so we were just waiting for a good setup. But what we saw was no demand at 25,200, and here we are seeing RBs at 25080. So we know that this is the range. Order flow has set up the range for us. So slowly what we do, we get back above VWAP. Again, there were no IB signals. We saw the POC shift higher. Again, we stalled. It looked as if it will stall here, but we did not get any IS signals. And then what we did, we broke above this 25170. And that break of 25170 got us highs matching the open. Here we are waiting for IB signals so that we can look for a trade into the previous day's profile. We were waiting for this range extension to happen. But for the range extension, we needed IB3 at this IBH level. What in fact we got was a red bar with zeros on the buy side. So what this reconfirmed was what we saw in the morning, that 25,200 is now in possession of aggressive sellers, and that is not giving you a gate pass. So what happened? You can just see we were just in a small range. We again came back to test that 25198, and you can see again we have got an RS bar. So this is only giving you the reference that 25,200 on the upside and 25,080 on the downside are the levels you need to watch. So if you see, these were low volume swipes. You don't want to take trades out of this bar. It is just a 249 bar with only zeros most of the place. So we wait for intent. We got an IB signal here, but you can see this IB signal again was only on 180 contracts. So you intent or initiative buyers will come with volumes. You cannot get initiative player on a 180 contract bar. And again, what happened, this IB3, where the price went above this IB3, but what are we seeing? You can see only zeros on the buy side. So this is where order flow comes in so handy. If you're only looking at candlestick, you're looking at a green candle and you're telling that this could break out. But here in the order flow, what is this green candle showing? In fact, even this IB, you hardly have any buy volumes. If not for the order flow, this would have been a good green bar for people to go into long positions. But because we have order flow, we know that this does not have buyers and this does not have volumes. Without volumes and without buy side volumes, there is no upside which can come. So this is what the order flow helps us in identifying. So again, there was nothing happening here. And again, what we did a slow drift lower. And this is where we got this IS signal. We have come to VWAP, we have broken VWAP, and this is the IS signal which we got in the K period yesterday. K is known to be a good period, and we look for a move by big players in the K period, just like what we look for in the A and B. So once this IS3 formed, and we already knew that the bias was on the downside, 25,200 was holding the top. And once you got this IS3 signal, what was the activation? You break below 25133, your stop loss is 25158. So if you go so once this gets activated, which happened in the next bar, 25158 is your stop loss, and you look at the target. What would be your targets? The first target on the downside, because this is a 20-point move, 24 points. So it 24997 would have been our first target. Sorry. Just a second, guys. So this is a 25-point bar. So 2500 would have been our first target. And this was our stop loss. So what happened? Immediately after 5 bars, we got another big IS3. In fact, this was bigger than the one we saw at the VWAP. The volumes were increasing, 437 here, 1069 here. And this is an ideal IS bar. Even this is an ideal IS bar because the POC is at the top. This POC is in the upper part. And the candle is closed at the lows. So you know, and below VWAP, you know that the sellers are roasting. So even this was a trigger. But then this is coming late into the day. If you want to carry it, what would your stop loss be? Your stop loss would have been this VWAP of the day. So what the first target, as I said, was at 2500, which got hit, and the next target would have been at 25070. So this was our reference to carry shorts. And what happened yesterday into the close? We could not break that 25079, the lows of the day, and we closed around the 25161 mark. So what happened today at the open? So you know your latest IS signal is this. 25133 is your reference. This VWAP will be our reference to hold on to shorts or look at what order flow is doing today in the morning and take trades. So what we did today, let's go to today's order flow and see. We opened lower. If you look at the targets of previous IS3, this signal targets, I'll just give you the 3 targets which we had. The first target was at 25106, which got hit the same day. The next lower target was at 25080, which we were looking for yesterday, but we only made a low of 25091. 25080, even Shai actually gave us that objective for close yesterday. And even till the close, we were trying to get that target. But he even mentioned in the VLD that fine, today it is not come, but tomorrow there's a very good chance that we hit that target tomorrow. So 2580 was that second target based on this IS3. And the third target was 25054. And you can see how the lower open, what do you see? So what the IS signals do is not only give us a trade, but they also give us probable objectives, and they give you a signal at which target the profit is being booked. So 25054, when we hit at the open, what did we see? We saw the POC shift to the lows. Even the day POC shifted lower. So this is telling us that the profits are being booked. So if you are short, you come out of it. So if you are short, you come out of the trades. So what happened then? So we went on to probe higher. There was profit booking. The laggard shorts who must have gone short because of the gap down were not aware about the order flow. They did not know that the IS signal has hit the third target. And here in the morning, 3 minutes, we have got a RB bar. So you will never go short on an RB. Fresh short positions you will not take on this bar, because it was an order flow. If it was just a candlestick, it was a red candlestick with an open high start, people would still have gone long expecting more downside. But what order flow helped us to see was that this is an RB bar and it has hit third target of the last IS which we saw at 245 previous day. So this is definitely a zone of profit booking, and we wait for the next signal. What happened at the next signal? When did the next signal come? It did not take too much time. Can you recall what this high is? 25132 is the high of the IS signal which we got at close yesterday. So when you are getting an IS3 at the same level, you know that this what you were seeing at 25200 is now shifted down to 25135. So this was our first IS signal of the day. How do you trade this signal? Very simple. We short below 25101, your stop loss is 25128, or better you can keep this as your stop loss, the high of the day. So what would be the targets? That the first signal, even if you keep your stop loss at 25130, the targets would have been 25070 on the downside. So what do? You look to hit 25070. Till then, your stop loss is this. And did we hit 25070? No, not in this. But what we are seeing is more of IS signals. So this is reconfirming our bias. It is not very often you keep seeing so many number of IS signals in just 30 to 40 minutes. So this is what is showing you intent. This is showing you how sellers are completely in control. So what 25070, finally it got hit here. So 25070 was the first target. We book profits, and what we do, we trail the rest to the latest reference which you can take. Our entry was at 25101. But what have we seen here? You have seen one IS3 coming at the POC of the day. And what you see again is that IS3 high is again being defended. So even if you have missed an entry here for whatever reason, when you are seeing this kind of order flow bar where you are getting zeros on the buy side at an IS3 level, you know you can re-enter this trade for that target which is not yet been hit, because the risk is the same. It is only giving you a re-entry into the trade. Our short level was at 25101 and our target was 25010. So once you hit that, you come out of part positions and you trail to cost, and you wait for the lower targets. And what were the lower targets? As per the first signal which you take, 25040 is your second target. And you can see how after 25070, you come down to hit that 25040 to the dot. And all this while we are below the VWAP. So if you are holding shorts, VWAP of the day is your sacrosanct level. That will tell you that the sellers are in control. So that is what it did. It gave us the second target, and we then look for the third target and the fourth target, which was a 25010 and 24980. So when you book at this, your stop loss for the remaining lot is for you to decide whether you want to keep it at cost or whether you want to trail it to a higher level. 25070 or the VWAP also could be one important reference. So what we did here, we got a bounce above VWAP, and this bounce above VWAP showed us rejection, RS signal. So 25100 was our reference to go short in the last IS signal. So here when you're looking this rejection at VWAP, you know that the buyers are not able to do a good job. The buyers are not coming in above the VWAP. So you again wait, and here you get another IS signal. If you hold on to your first trade, this was your third target. And this came with an IS3. But this IS3 did not get activated. So what we are seeing here is order flow, and this is the latest order flow, where you can see how clearly you know on days where you have intent shown by the sellers. And today was such a day where any pullback you are getting near VWAP or near IBL, you can look to go short with the stop loss at VWAP. And what we went on to do was, again you see here, this IS3 did not get triggered. We never broke below this. But once we went above this, you can see what are we doing. We are again getting an RS signal. And because this was not triggered, this RS plus IS is a good re-entry into the short side trade. You did not get a chance to enter as this did not break, but this was taken out. So you're waiting for the next signal and you get a perfect RS plus IS here. So you go short below 25018. Your stop loss to be on the safer side would be this POC of 25040. And this latest signal will again give you good setup. So your target would have been 24997. The first target would have been 24997. But as this is a big round number, 25,000, and here you are seeing zeros on the sell side, it is always prudent to book some part here if you are gone short at this signal. This remains our reference on the upside. So this is how you can keep taking multiple trades, book profits, tail to cost. No matter, no problem if your stop loss is hit, because you're only giving the brokerage, because you have already booked profit at the target one. So what this move did, this IS3 again did not get triggered and we saw a move higher. You can see here, where is it stalling? It is stalling right at the VWAP. VWAP and POC are right there and we are stalling exactly at that level. So what does this tell us? This is telling us there is no demand over here. Again, we saw a move lower, pull back again. So IS is intent. So it may keep rebounding near VWAP, but you will just have a feeling that it may not break and you will take. But when you see this, you are very sure that now you want to get into a trade. So break of 25040 is a short. Your stop loss is 25060. 20 points. And what are your targets? 25020, 25,000, 24, 980. And you can see how we went on to hit those targets. And what we saw, even though we got this big LLT 2014 green, what did it show? It did not show us any green bar. It was a red bar with zeros on the other levels, and we could not even get above this. And what we did is we went on to give another IS and we hit all those three targets which the last IS3 gave us. 24980. And here, what another example I would want to show this, see this. This was the IS3. We did get below this, but not got much volumes. We did a lookup above that. What did we see? You've got 4 rows of zeros and you are getting a 2,600 sell fellow. So when the PLR is down and when you're getting an IS and when you're getting these kind of rejections and reconfirmations, you know that you need to remain short. So this today's was a fantastic example, and you can see how these zeros are supporting this IS. And again, once we go below this, you go on to hit the remaining targets which you were expecting. So this is what it is, and this is how it played out today. So it is very simple. Follow the IS and the IB signals. The rules are very simple. You know the stop loss, you know the targets, you know the entry point. You have to be patient to look out for the signals and accordingly act. And one final look at the Bank Nifty. We had one sells IS 30 in Bank Nifty yesterday. So before I talk about that IS30, you can see what the structure in Bank Nifty was on the 30 minutes. So what we did yesterday was we rejected the double distribution profile on the upside, which we made on 23rd. We opened into the singles and we left an initiated selling tail. And what we did later, we saw the POC shift lower. This was a very important reference. Monthly POC of August, 55174, 55171. VWAP, sorry. POC was at 55131. So it took support there. It gave us the pullback above VWAP. What did we see at VWAP? We saw a rejection, zeros on the buy side. This selling tail is being defended, VWAP is being rejected, and you get this IS30. What are the rules? You short below 55280, your stop loss is 55383. What are the targets? First target was 55177. Although we, just like in Nifty, we made a low at 55191, we missed that 55177, but that was always on. This remained our stop loss, and our second target was 55074. So you can see how the IS signal not just gives us the trade, it also gives us the range, and it also tells us how much it can expand. So 2 times of this was 55074, and today at the open, if you see the lows, 55071, 55074 was the second target of this IS30. And right there, you can see how you made lows and you left an A period buying tail. Bank Nifty was not at all bearish today because of this A period buying tail. We did get this IS30, but what happened was we never were able to go below this. It didn't get triggered. If we would have gone below this, our stop loss would have been 55270 for a similar target. So this is how you have to make use of these IS signals, IB signals. This is what is the method to follow the order flow. It is showing you intent, it is showing you what is happening inside the candle, and it is giving you a good trade setup with the range also. So you also know where you need to book out. So we saw classic profit booking level both in Nifty at 25050 at the open today, and then in the Bank Nifty also at 55074 at the open today. Nifty gave us a re-entry into the short side after it tested the 25130. We got an IS3, but in Bank Nifty we did not get such anything, and the IS30 which formed did not get triggered. So that is it for today, guys. It's very simple. You just need to make sure of how you need to watch the IBs and the IS, and use the RBs and the RS for profit booking. And whenever you see these IBs forming, whichever time frame, take action and accordingly keep booking profits and trail the rest to cost. So thank you guys for joining in, and if you have any queries, you can DM me on X. My ID is at Uttam Goel. You can also mail us at support@wetrender.com. So we also have a Orderflow e-course book on the website. It's a free ebook which you can download. It is in the For You section. So go to the website wetrender.com and you can download that ebook and go through the Orderflow nuances which we use. So, and that will definitely help you to get better at trading and make sense of what the order flow and the market is showing us. So thank you guys for joining in. And have a great evening, and let's catch up next week with a new session.